Good afternoon. This is a public hearing required by law and authorized by the New York State Power Authority's Board of Trustees on a proposed form of contract for the sale of hydropower to Alcoa USA Corp. My name is Felisa Hockeiser, and I'm the authority's Deputy Corporate Secretary. New York State Public Authorities Law, Section 1009, sets forth procedures for executing certain contracts negotiated by the authority. First, prior to the hearing, it requires that notice of the hearing be provided. Therefore, a notice was sent to the governor, the Speaker of the Assembly, the Chair of Senate Finance Committee, the Chair of Assembly Ways and Means Committee, the Senate Minority Leader, the Ranking Minority Leader of Assembly Ways and Means, the President pro tempore and Majority Leader, and Assistant Secretary for Energy. In addition, notices appeared once a week for the 4 weeks leading up to this hearing in the following newspapers: Albany Times-Union, Messina Daily Courier, Buffalo News, Plattsburgh Press Republican, Syracuse Post-Standard, and Watertown Daily Times. The public was also given access to the proposed contracts on the authority's website during the 30-day period prior to today's hearing. After the hearing, the public will be given access to the hearing transcript once it is completed at www.nipa.gov. The next step in the process set forth in Section 1009 will be for the NYPA trustees to reconsider the proposed contract in light of public comments. Once the trustees have completed their final review, the contracts will be forwarded to the governor for her consideration and approval. If you plan to make an oral statement at this hearing, I ask that you please indicate so on the sign-in sheet. Also, if you have a written statement, you can mail or email the corporate secretary at 123 Main Street, 9B as in boy, White Plains, New York 10601, or you can send an email to secretaries.office@nipa.gov. That's secretarys.office@nipa.gov. Written statements may be of any length and will appear in the record of the hearing in addition to oral statements. The record of the hearing will remain open for additional comments up to and until close of business Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. At this point, I would like to introduce Patricia Wilson, Senior Program Manager of Economic Development, who will provide additional details on the proposed customer contracts. Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
Thank you, Ms. Hawkeiser. Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Wilson, Senior Program Manager of Economic Development within NYPA's Customer Solutions Department. I'm here today to present a summary of the proposed contract for Alcoa USA Corp. Regarding the proposed contract, under Public Authorities Law, Section 1005, subsection 13, the authority may allocate and sell directly or by sale for resale 490 megawatts of preservation power to businesses located in Jefferson, Franklin, and St. Lawrence counties. At their July 29, 2025 meeting, NYPA trustees approved a 240 megawatt allocation of preservation power to Alcoa for an initial term of 10 years, with an option for Alcoa to extend the term for 2 additional 5-year periods if specific capital investment and employment commitments are met. That approval is based on Alcoa's commitment to maintain at least 500 full-time jobs, an increase of 50 jobs from the current 450 job target in the current contract, and to make a capital investment of at least $30 million or $3 million per year over 10 years at the facility that will use the preservation power allocation. If Alcoa elects to take the first 5-year extension, it will be required to invest $85 million for the 15-year term. And if Alcoa elects to take the second 5-year extension, it will be required to invest $145 million over the 20-year term at the facility that will use the preservation power allocation. The trustees also provided authorization for a public hearing in accordance with Public Authorities Law, Section 1009, on a proposed form of contract with Alcoa that would, along with the authority's service tariff number AL-2, apply to the sale of preservation power to Alcoa. The Alcoa plant located in Messina is the oldest continually operating smelter in the world, first opening in 1902. Alcoa signed their first agreement with the authority in 1955 and became one of NYPA's first customers when power started to be generated at the St. Lawrence FDR Power Project in 1957. Both parties recognize the value of this long-standing relationship dating back nearly 70 years. In late 2023, the authority and Alcoa commenced discussions of an extension of Alcoa's hydropower allocation. On March 21, 2025, the authority and Alcoa reached an agreement on a term sheet to extend the allocation for 10 years and provide for 2 5-year extensions if certain capital investment and employment commitments are met. The authority and Alcoa have now reached an agreement pursuant to which the authority would sell the allocation of 240 megawatts to Alcoa under the proposed contract, including service tariff number AL-2. The following is a summary of pertinent provisions in the proposed contract and service tariff number AL-2. The contract provides for the direct billing of all hydropower supply charges and all New York Independent System Operator, Inc. charges and taxes. The contract includes customer agreed upon commitments with respect to employment, capital investment, and power utilization. Under the contract, the authority may reduce or terminate the allocation if employment, capital investment, or power utilization are not met. Relatedly, the contract includes an annual job reporting requirement and a job compliance threshold of 90%. Should the company's average annual employment fall below the compliance threshold of 90% of the employment commitment, the authority may reduce the amount of the allocation. Service tariff number AL-2 provides for a monthly energy rate calculated with a formula tied to aluminum prices. There will be no price ceiling on the monthly energy rate applicable in any given month. However, the monthly energy rate will never be lower than the overall preference power rates charged by the authority to its qualifying customers. The contract requires the company participate in an energy efficiency program or perform energy audits at its facilities. To address non-payment risks that could result from the direct billing arrangement, the contract includes commercially reasonable provisions concerning the authority's ability to require deposits in the event of the customer's failure to make payment for any 2 monthly bills. These contract provisions are consistent with other authority direct sale contracts, including the Recharge New York sales contracts. The contract provides for monthly clean energy standard charges, including but not limited to the cost of zero emission credits and renewable energy credits that the authority incurs attributable to the load served under the contract. The cost of all clean energy standard charges associated with Alcoa's load will be passed through to Alcoa. As Ms. Hochheiser stated earlier, the authority will accept your comments on the proposed contract until the close of business on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. I will now turn the meeting back to Ms. Hochheiser.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Has any speaker signed up to speak?
We have none.
Very good. Since no one has signed up to speak at the hearing, we will recess and reconvene as speakers arrive. Thank you. It is now 6 p.m. As I previously stated, the record of the hearing will remain open for additional comments up to and until close of business Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. The September 9th, 2025 public hearing on the proposed sale of hydropower to Alcoa USA Corp is now officially closed. Thank you and good night.